Let me, ladies and gentlemen, just offer a few thoughts from my position. Firstly, and it wasn't evident, but it's very heartwarming, everybody wants to play with sandboxes. So there's a very positive overall response to the Commission's initial proposal. And what I most like in the conversation is we put slightly different labels on it: Open Innovation 2.0, participatory design, policy prototyping. But we all understand this as an opportunity for opening up, so that it's not just a dialogue of the deaf between an innovator and a regulator. It's a much richer conversation. And I personally think that is in itself a big achievement. So we have a policy basis which is positive. I think the devil is in the detail. I think all of you were revealing in the discussion, not only Detlef at the end, that the details need further attention. So in that sense, thanks to the AI for People organizers, this has been a timely discussion. How do we ensure full access? How do we ensure a learning process, as Detlef said at the end? How do we avoid over-regulation? And my comment as well would be, how do we ensure that everybody has access at the beginning, even if not all national instances have been established? Who does it? I think there is a message for further reflection by the co-legislators and by the Commission, because it's the obvious approach is the regulator hosts it, but actually that may not create an open enough dynamic, and it may not create enough supply. I liked the idea from Chandrima that this should be distributed ownership. I certainly agree with what Dragos said, that obviously the regulator is there, because without a regulator, the sandbox is just a sort of private playground. But I think that's an interesting thing to think about. And finally, I think we pass all of the burden back to Jordanka and to our colleagues in the Commission, as well as in the other institutions. How do we optimize, especially at the beginning? I personally, in how do we make learning work, I personally think that the peer-to-peer approach often works as a component, because national level regulators understand and respect each other's different starting points, and peer-to-peer learning, whether it's been in food safety or cybersecurity, in my own experience, it allows member states to learn from each other without feeling that the EU institutions are pointing a finger at them and saying, you have failed. So I think that is important. I think there's space to have not just civil society organizations, but real people, as we were discussing, and maybe also to think about doing what certain specialized courts do in many member states, which is to have not just regulators and regulated and citizens, but also assessors, people with a certain amount of expertise who can help the regulator, who can mediate the conversations in a sandbox. And I think that goes to the point that somebody made from the floor, Justina, about, ethicists, yes, and we have Chandrima on the panel, but I think we need that sort of expertise which bridges between the regulatory vision, what society wants, and the business innovation. But finally, I think the only way to go smoothly in a launch will be to throw some money at it, to make sure that EU resources are devoted to helping all sandboxes to flourish quickly, and then to recognize that learning is an iterative process. It's going to take time. So I conclude this conversation, which has been very rich, very happy as a moderator. So thanks to all our panelists for being extremely open and responsive, but also encouraged on the substance. So I hope that the Commission and in due course the Council and Parliament will feel encouraged that the principle is very widely welcomed, and we just have to get it right. So thanks to all for attending. Thanks especially to our panelists, and there can't be a burst of applause over the ether, but that's what's happening at home. And you don't need to travel safely home, but enjoy the rest of your day. So thank you very much from me, and thanks to AI for People. Goodbye.